for me, I am being grossly underpaid against the average market value in the area where I live. Managers will not address my concerns with this even after 2 meetings about the matter. Well, D'Angela's data, I hate to say it, but the obvious thing to do is then leave. Like, listen, here's the deal. A lot of people misunderstand what market price is. They think it's their value. It's not your value, okay? That's not what it is. What it's saying is that it's the average amount that an employer will pay someone with your general skill set in this general geographic region. That's what that is. It doesn't mean that that's what you're worth. You could be worth considerably more, or you could be worth considerably less. Like, market price doesn't automatically mean that's what you're worth. If that data was perfectly accurate, which, is like a whole discussion right there. But like, let's imagine it is, okay? And then another assumption is, does your company pay the market price? Because some companies intentionally pay their workforce below market price. It's called paying below the market. And some other organizations will pay above market price. It's called paying above the market. Now, it's a little deceptive because obviously the reason why a company would pay below the market is because even though they figure they might lose some of the more talented employees, the ones that could get a better job, they will leave, right? And you'll get a higher employee turnover rate. So like, people will stay there for a shorter amount of time on average before they leave, right? So you get more churn, more turnover with employees. They figure they can still make money. Like, the savings they will make in the wages will be more than the effects of all those negative things like people leaving and all that, right? Okay. Sometimes, okay, it's more than that. Sometimes it's that they pay below market because people will work for them, will choose to work for them for less than market price because they're getting something else out of it. For example, say a company like Google or Amazon, you might really value having the name Google or Amazon on your resume. So it's desirable to work for those companies because they have brand recognition or name recognition. And it's a real feather in your cap to say, oh, I'm an ex-Google employee or something like that. So what that means is that it enables those companies to pay below market price, so lower than average, but still get talented people wanting to work there, right? That's another reason. I once worked for a company that paid like something like 15% above market. There was always a premium that they would have to pay all their employees, no matter what department you were in, no matter what location you were in, because they were like a global company, or at least an international company. They always paid a premium. And the reason they paid that premium was because the company had a very bad reputation and it was absolutely miserable there. And they had to pay people a premium in order to get them to stay. And even though they were paying them 15% above the average market price, pretty much across the board for every job, their turnover rate was still extremely high. They still couldn't keep people there. Now, my first tip-off for this was when I arrived there and I found that the entire workforce had either been there for over 10 years or less than 6 months. There was pretty much nobody in between. And that was a warning right there. That was a red flag, right? Because it means that the vast majority of people leave with only a select few that stay long term. So even with that price premium, it was a terrible place to work. A lot of people that worked there regretted that they worked there. It was that bad. So you get all kinds of things, okay? Now, listen, look out for yourself. Do the best thing that's in your self-interest. And that is, if you are actually really working below your value, okay, you're making a lot less than you could, then you start looking and you go, right? If you can't get any other job options, that's a signal that, maybe you are being paid your worth, or at least what people in that industry perceive your worth to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't get to decide our own worth. So the only way you find out is you go and look for jobs, and then you see what the offers are, right? And that's what I highly recommend that you do if you're not happy. Don't jeopardize your current job, but put out some feelers and embark upon a job search campaign. And maybe something a lot better will come along. Maybe you're already doing this, I'm not sure, but make sure you're doing that. Jennifer Lynn says, thank you, and smooth. Smooth, yes, like smooth frame rate, or just smooth, in the way I talk. And my presence, my aura. If you can see my aura, let me know if that's coming out on the stream.